Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to the NS9 Postgame Show powered by Primanti Brothers. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, we got Tyler Sweeney. Tyler, Pirates lose 1-0 today. Pretty controversial call at the very end that determined the entire outcome of the game. Let's just start there. What do you say? Safe or out?
Oh, it's a god-awful call, and I don't want to act like that call's the only reason they lost the game. We're going to whine about the umps all day. Obviously, we're not. There's a lot of other problems to discuss. That was awful. That is god-awful, and they had a chance to get it right. They went to replay, and they still got it wrong. It was plain as day, and I think the only thing you could argue is that maybe he didn't tag him, but if you go to the other camera angle, you can see him tag him. Not just that call today, the strike zone obviously looked like it was in the Cubs' favor today. Just god awful by the umps. God awful. Terrible.
I am confused. Let's start, like you said, the call. I don't blame the initial call. It's all happening real time. You see the ball come out safe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't fault that. That's what you see, call safe. The point of reviewing the play is to get those things correct. And if I'm going to make any excuse in that sense, the angles were kind of rough. But I think there's plenty there to see. I mean, for one, we know he held on to the ball. He had the ball the entire time. He brings it up in the air. The arm knocks it out. He's out with that stance, right? But I think you clearly see enough where the foot moves, everything, the glove's right there, that he was out before we crossed the plate. I also am not one of, blaming on the umpiring, the reffing, wherever sport you're in. That's part of the game. It's a human element. You're a team. You got to overcome it. You got to do things you got to do. This team didn't hit today. They didn't do enough to win the game as it is, right? But this one was lost. And it was lost because of this bad call. And it was a terrible call. Like, you just simply didn't get it right. You had the opportunity to correct what was wronged, and you didn't. And man, I feel for Bailey Falter.
But not only did they not get it right on the replay when they had a chance to fix it, they confirmed their wrong call.
Right.
They confirmed they got it wrong. Like, what are we doing here?
Right.
I understand the Pirates needed to do more, and they could have won this game just by hitting the baseball. But the umpires took that opportunity out of their hands to go have a chance to win it. Right there, it's over because they blew it. Plain out blew it.
Yep. Like, I want to say, like, this isn't the NFL where you have to, like, complete the catch per se. He had the tag. The ball was knocked out later afterwards, right? But he made the tag. That's done. That's final. The act of the tag was completed. The ball came out afterwards. It's not like Megatron not completing the catch in the end zone, and that's why he's safe. There was enough there. Again, you get it right. You see the tag was applied before he crossed home plate. This stings. It does. It does. In the grand scheme of things, the Pirates didn't do enough to win. We understand that, and we will definitely talk about that. But this stings because the game was essentially taken away. They weren't given the opportunity to win the game. That was a hell of a play by Joey Bart also, by the way. I mean,
yeah. And a good throw from Taylor. Good enough, at least.
That's what I'm going to say. It was good. It was a strong throw. It was off just a bit. Bart makes the play. He reaches over on the other side, makes that tag, holds on to it with his hand and such. And I just say that because we also saw another play at the plate not too long ago by the other catcher who didn't hang on to the ball. That was rightfully not, held on to. This one was. But that's, that brought back the PST for that. Like, I saw that and just immediately went to Yasmani's play where he lost it. And then you see the replay, and yes, he hung on to the baseball today.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only thing you can say to Bart is keep it in the glove as long as humanly possible and don't take it out. But even then, like, they got the call wrong. Then they confirmed it somehow. The game should still be going on right now. If the Cubs walk it off another way, it is what it is. But it was the opportunity to win was taken away.
Yeah. Yep. And again, that definitely stings. Before we continue,
bro, I think Porter is a little tough, but go ahead.
Yeah, no to say before we do continue, just to put it out there, of course, Bet Online is your number one source for all your summer sports this season from MLB, golf, NBA, and NHL. All the latest stats, news, and scores available to follow your favorite teams. Get the latest odds and lines, including the latest team matchups, player props, and odds on just about every sport out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get into the action. Bet Online, where the game starts. Maybe the umpire was betting on the Cubs today because you talk about the strike zone.
Glad you said
Uh,
it, not me.
Again, I'm not one to really, really go deep in, especially the strike zone. You can go back. The tweet was out there. You can go back to the Pirates. They've been favored in plenty of games this year as well. It happens. But this is back to back where it was pretty egregious. I mean, let's talk about yesterday's start just a little bit again, right? With Paul Skeens. He was squeezed quite a bit. You saw the scorecard today. And Tyler, you bring up today the strike zone as well. But also now this bad play at the end. I can understand why fans get the perception that the
Poor DiNardo. One of us is having internet issues here.
yeah, I saw you kind of disappear. Is it you or is it me?
There we go. I think it might have been me there. I couldn't tell, but I think I'm back. Yeah, talking about the umpires yesterday, I think some of the blame could have been placed on Grandal yesterday because I don't think he framed very well, but obviously you're an umpire, you got to get the calls right. Today, it was just blatantly obvious that this guy was missing calls, and there were balls off the plate that the Cubs were getting. You saw Brian Reynolds' frustration. He pretty much had the bat taken out of his hands by the umpire a couple times a day. I don't want to just sit here and rip on the umps and blame them because the offense does have to perform at some point, but it was pretty blatantly obvious to me, at least.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I said, like it stings. This was, you're coming off those two games where Skeens and Jones pitched well. They have 2 victories. And, like you're guaranteed at least a split. This could win this series. And Bailey Falter did everything possible to help win it. I mean, it's a tough matchup. Imanaga's out there. Him and his point. I mean, what is it now? Hold on. I'm gonna try to find it now. He has an ERA right now of
Good.
0.84. The 4-year, $3 million man, $55 million man, 0.84 ERA, and it's Bailey Falter. And you figure like, okay, is the magic gonna run off? Bailey Falter just, I don't know. Was Paul Skeens more impressive or Bailey Falter's today? I don't know. But super, super efficient.
Yeah. So there was a lot to like about what Falter did today, I think. We saw the pitch mix change a good bit today. He was really good with the 4-seam up in the zone, and that's why we saw so many pop flies. But also, he used the 2-seam a lot more today than he has really all year. He was probably over 60, close to 70% fastball today. It was a lot of fastball.
But yeah, it was 64% fastball.
Yeah. So a lot of fastball today. Really not much hard contact at all. And if it was hard contact, it went straight into the air. And with it being Wrigley and the wind blowing the way it was, anything that was in the air wasn't getting out. He just really efficient, like you said. Sustainability wise, I don't know how long that type of thing can go because the swings and misses just didn't happen today. Like that's a little concerning going forward. But if we're just talking about today, like he kept them off balance and they didn't square him up really at all.
This was a really good start by Bailey Falter. And I want to give him his flowers, give him the props where due. He has pitched really good for the Pittsburgh Pirates this year, right? Well past any of our expectations. So I don't want to go down the route of, is this for real? Because there are some questions, like you said, you can bring up that he has a 195 BABIP on the entire year. He's putting a lot of balls in play, and the BABIP is 195. Like that, he's a pitch to contact guy. And like you're correct too. He was striking out guys the early part of the year. Not like Paul Skeens or Jared Jones, right? But like he was striking out, I feel like more than you expected. This was kind of more what I expected to see of Bailey Falter. Like if he had a 5 or 6 inning outing, like 2, 3, maybe 4 strikeouts in this time. So today, 2 strikeouts and 7.2. Yeah, like he was definitely seeing a lot of bats. There's a lot of contact being made and outs were being given. And that's kind of been his MO all year. So again, I don't know how sustainable, but again, we're talking about 3.53 ERA on the entire year.
Right.
If he's a 4.5 guy, you're satisfied with that. So he did it again though today. It just no good contact by the Cubs all day long.
No, and obviously some of it's going to be put on the Cubs, because if I'm a Cubs fan right now, I'm pretty mad.
Oh yeah,
that you couldn't do anything against Bailey Falter here, because a lot of his stuff did look hittable, but then again, you look at that four seam up in the zone and it goes straight into the air. They just aren't able to get on top of it. And like I said, I liked what he was able to do with the sinker today that he hasn't really used much of. When he had guys on, he was able to roll one up, and really no threats against him all day.
I mean, he was
This
out there
game was
himself.
cruising, man.
Yeah,
it was gonna be like an hour 15-minute game.
I mean, people might understand this, but when I scheduled the show, I scheduled it for like 5:30 because that's about when yesterday's was ready to go. And I'm like, damn, we're a whole hour beforehand.
We're 11 minutes in. It's 4:45.
Yeah, and Tyler, you and I were talking last night. Like, man, isn't this good? Like the post game's over, the game's over. We have all this night ahead of ourselves. We have an extra hour tonight. We're basically living in Central Time today because of how quickly this game went by.
That's true. We are. We're with Jim.
Yeah, basically.
We're on the same schedule.
Also, now that you bring that up, I mean, the Rosati curse lives on, right? I mean, we got all of our frustration out on the actual play. The Rosati curse exists, right? Like this doesn't happen if Jim's not at the game. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong at all. I'm just really thankful the Pirates didn't start O'Neal Cruz, because he was bound to get hurt with Jim in attendance.
That's also a very good point.
And I'm glad it was Bailey Falter on the mound and not Paul Skeens, because I'm not putting that in the universe. I'm sorry, I can't.
Right. But back to your point, I was bringing up the numbers here too. Yeah, I mean, he's thrown the sinker 11.3% of the time this year. Today, pulls out the two-seamer for 31%. So, I mean, he basically tripled the usage of that today. And like you said, I mean, it was working. It was absolutely working.
Yeah, he's able to
average exit velocity was, well, I guess it was 97.9, but it wasn't going anywhere.
Right, and he's able to run that four-seam up in the zone with his extension. And then he has something that he can go down in the zone with the two-seamer. I mean, that's a good mix right there to work with, especially whenever you pitched against the Cubs last week. So you kind of do have to come back with something different this outing.
Also a very, very, very good point. Yes. I mean, facing them back-to-back starts.
Yeah. So he mixed it up well today, and he was able to put together damn near a Maddox.
Yeah. That's what kind of stunk. Again, he was super, super efficient. Started coming like unraveling a little bit there in the 8th. They pull him out, which is totally fine. Holderman comes in, didn't look too sharp right off the bat, but they do get out the inning. Again, like you gave this team a chance. 0-0 heading into the 9th. The Pirates offense just couldn't get anything together. But ironically enough, like the Cubs really couldn't either. The Pirates really had more offense. Again, we're really hanging on to something here. Had more offense than the Cubs did, through 8. I'll say that. They were getting to Imanaga more than the Cubs were getting to Falter.
Yeah, the bats are bad.
Yeah.
Not much life at all today. I don't even. Could you really compliment anyone yourself here? Because I can't think of anyone I want to compliment right now.
I'll give these compliments out. Kutch leads off with a walk, hit one foul that would have been over the fence. So there's your compliments, Kutch. Brian Reynolds ran, what was it, the 5th fastest speed of any Pirate to first base this year?
4th, I believe.
That was a hustle play by him to be safe. So like kudos to him. And Nick Gonzalez. 2 barrels to start off, then a strikeout. Then he went over 4 today.
After that.
Yeah, the 2 strikeouts, you live with that though. He hasn't been showing that mostly. So one game he has 2 strikeouts, but on the other end, he also had 2 barrels that end up being outs. Quite unlucky there. There's There's your positives. How's that?
Yeah. I mean, the only one I was really wanted to comment on was Nick Gonzalez. And that was really only after his first 2 at-bats because I thought those were really good at-bats. He seems to be really aggressive early in counts right now. So he's able to jump on a fastball, and if it's anything breaking, he's making contact with it right now. And I think I looked during the game. His contact rate on pitches in the zone is like 97% this year in the majors.
He's jumping on him.
That's a dude that just swung and missed at everything last year. So obviously, as this goes on, teams are going to adjust to him. He's not going to get fastballs dead red first pitch. So that's when we'll see what Nick Gonzalez really is. But right now, I've liked what I'm seeing out of him. I like what I see defensively as well, aside from that ball that he just lost in the sun.
Yeah, outside of that one, let's please. Outside of that one, that was bad. But again, it likely is sun. But yeah, no harm, no foul there though. At least.
Yeah, I mean,
like
they got the guy
gave Edward Olivares an assist. So pad your teammates' stats. Thank you, Nick Gonzalez.
Yeah. Aside from that, though, I guess sure compliment Kutch. Reynolds getting down the line, like some good hustle play, something you want to see from the team. And someone else got down the line well as well. I can't remember.
I think Joey Bart actually.
It might have been Bart.
I think it was Bart.
He beat out
Olivares. No, he had an infield hit.
Yeah, the double clutch, couldn't get it out of his glove and beat it. Someone beat it out. I can't remember who.
Actually, probably all 3. I mean, because no one had an
extra
base hit. So then,
yeah, I don't know. But someone beat out another, and hustle was there today, just not enough actual hitting of the baseball.
Fair. The will was there. The ability was not.
No, it wasn't.
Right. Yeah. I guess really, there's not much to talk about offensively. But again, this was. It sounds like we're discrediting. I mean, the offense has to come alive. They've been more alive the past few games. So credit there. This was just like a pitching duel. If you really like good pitching, it was there today. And again, Imanaga, he's fantastic. There's a reason why he has a 0.83 or 0.84, whatever it is, 0.84 ERA on the year. You saw it. And he made the Pirates look silly, but he's made everyone look silly. So it's like I understand that the offense has to come alive, and it's more on them today for the loss than like David Bednar or whatnot. But Imanaga he's shown to be something. As much as we talk about Jared Jones and Paul Skeens, they have their guy right there as well, which is it's why if you're talking, it's early in the season, but you're talking about rookie of the year stuff, this is gonna be a battle, and it's like all pitching.
Yeah. I guess it's hard to get really, really down, like you said, because he does have a 0.84 ERA, and the Pirates aren't the only team not hitting him. Nobody's hitting him. So you want to see more, but really, it's hard to get really hard on him today when you're facing pitching like that. I wish he was a Pirate. Can you imagine that rotation? That'd be so much fun.
Actually, let's everyone take a moment of silence and think about that rotation.
That'd be so much fun.
Gene, you have Paul Skeens, Jared Jones, Mitch Keller, Bailey Falter, and Imanaga. 5th, obviously, in those rankings. 5th, obviously.
Sure.
Right. But yeah. Again, though, it's just one of those days. The pitching was certainly there for both sides. Offenses weren't doing anything on either side as well. It was really just who was going to crack first, and no one cracked first. No one did, truly. The bad call at the very end is what did it. And so that's just how things go sometimes. It sucks. But tomorrow's a new day, and you just have to move forward. Because I'm sure somewhere down the line, the Cubs are going to have a call that they feel lost the game for them as well. It happens.
I hope so. I hope it happens a bunch of times.
I hope it happens in like game 162 when them and the Pirates are tied for something. Hopefully a wild card, maybe a division,
Sure. I mean, if we want to sit here and take a moment of silence, think about that too, we can do that.
Let's just do that. Yeah, it's only 20 minutes in. We got time to kill. Let's just think about stuff.
Yeah. Can you imagine? But no, it would be nice for them to maybe come back tomorrow and have a few calls go to Pirates' way.
Right. Yeah, I I don't have much more to talk about. I don't know what else to really talk about. Again, the offense just didn't really exist. We talked about the bad call.
Do we kind of have to talk about Bednar, don't we?
Okay. Yeah.
Like, just he hasn't been good. And we talk about everything else with this team. If him and Chapman are just their normal selves, this team's probably 500 right now. All other issues included, if the two guys that they have right now and one they signed and one they've relied on for a long time, if they're just their normal selves, this team's probably 500 or a game or two over it right now. And that's with the offensive struggles. Like, those two guys you planned on leaning on have failed you time and time again this year, and Bednar did again today.
So fair. So fair. The play itself we felt was bad, but David Bednar allowed that to happen. Right. So absolutely fair stuff to talk about and criticize. I mean, yeah, like he has looked better the past 2 times. You can fairly say that, but it's just 2. Like when you look at the season in its totality, he hasn't been the same guy, and today just kind of added that to it as well. I don't want to say I'm concerned. The track record's just too long for me that at this point, like I'm truly concerned. I'm not satisfied. And now, like if I'm concerned about anything, what I'm concerned about is how elite David Bednar is. I'll say that. Like maybe that's over with. Maybe we're looking at a good closer. He has to be good again, though, right? But maybe we're at the point where it's like, okay, maybe David Bednar just isn't elite anymore because he was he was elite.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I can't say that, but I'm not concerned yet on is David Bednar washed? Is he done? Because nothing really stands out and says that to me. Does that make sense?
I mean, at the very least, I'm getting really frustrated by him.
Yeah.
Like it's May 18th. The rust should be off by now. I know you missed spring, but you got to perform, man. There's too many outings right now where you're looking either shaky or you're struggling or you're just playing out blowing the game. Like, it's happening too often right now.
Right. I mean, this gives him his 3rd loss of the year. He didn't get his 3rd loss last year until September 28th. So you're talking about like if they were them old selves, right? I mean, potentially there's 1, maybe 2 more wins. We'll say there's 1 loss, right? There's 1 bad outing that he had in a sense. Maybe it's 2 more wins. It's a different story at this point in time. They're still not a great team, right? They're still below 500, but they're there. They're right there still. Chapman, like you talk about, same thing. So like, yeah, like this bullpen, which was supposed to be elite, right? Supposed to be the strength, that's for sure. You can debate if it's elite or good or whatever, right? But you saw the potential of them being a top 5 bullpen, but there's certainly were going to be a good bullpen, and it's been hurting them. And more of the Bednar and Chapmans and less of the other guys. That's what's the problem.
No, I'm with you. He's got to be better. Him and Chapman both have to be better. We talked about how they're going to lean on this bullpen, and right now the bullpen's not performing up to standard. Plain and simple. They got to be better. There's other issues that are definitely much larger concerns, but the strength of your team's not being the strength.
Yep. Okay. Well, we talked about Bednar. So now what? Anything?
I mean, it's a 1-0 game. Not much else to really hash out. It's a tough matchup hitting wise. Bailey Falter was good, and a blown call that we're going to be talking about all night on Twitter, I'm sure.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I guess with that said, tomorrow is Mitch Keller on the mound. If you're going to win the series, the next best guy to have there is Mitch Keller. Hope he can get ready. He's been looking pretty good. He does face Jameson Taillon, though, who's also looked really good. The 2 best friends are on the mound facing each other. Old Pirate, Jameson Taillon. So there's that. Yeah, disappointing game. Dump sucked. Whatevs. Move on, I guess.
Yeah. Take 3 or 4. I'll be happier.
There it is. All right. So with that said, let's get out of here. As always, like, subscribe, join, check out the memberships if you haven't. We will be in PNC Park on June 22nd for Andrew McCutcheon Bobblehead Night for our NS9 tailgate. So check that out. The link is in the comments, both on podcast and this YouTube. And yeah, I guess we will see you all tomorrow.
Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Bye-bye.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.